You know, I got to thinking, and I realized I never did a full review on my Fuji Mini-Mite sprayer. Idiot! I went through a bunch of sprayers. I talked about that in another video. But I finally spent the money, upgraded to this Fuji Mini-Mite 4. Best decision ever. And I have really, really enjoyed it. Now, with that being said, I've had my fair share of issues. And by issues, I mean user error. There's a lot of things that can go wrong if you don't know what you're doing with the sprayer. And I'd like to go over a few of those. Now, with the sprayer, you have this cup gun. This is the T model, and it is the gravity feed. For the tip, I use a 1.0 for any lacquer application. And if I spray anything thicker like a latex, I'll bump up to the 1.3. Not only am I going to talk about this sprayer, I'm going to use it. Got these shelves I'm going to spray today, and I'm going to take you through the entire process. First step, I got to clean up this filthy shop. I have so many people comment my videos where I am spraying and they see dust. Look, this is my only space. I do my best. Dust only is a problem if you disturb it. I try to get as much out as I can, but I have created some wonderful, beautiful pieces out of here with plenty of dust on the floor. So, go eat some Cracker Jacks or something. Oh my gosh, you need a paint booth. No dust. No, you don't. Half the time I don't even clean anything. Just doing this for the video. Yes, I blew out my shop. I'll wait for the dust to settle a little bit. It's the first coat. I'm not that worried about it. I'm going to sand it off. For this project, Sherwin-Williams, Sherwood, High Build. No, I'm not sponsored. If you haven't switched to lacquer yet, there's something wrong with you. This stuff is so easy. Dries within 30 minutes. You can sand it, put on another coat. I love this stuff. Now, this is not the final coat. For the final coat, I'll do Sherwood Clear Medium Rub. Rub-a-dub-dub. What that's going to do is provide a layer of clear protection over the blue. Oh, by the way, 3 coats of blue most likely will be required on this. Will be some overspray with this system, so I'll cover these tables up. Let's see how bad I grunt right here. Holy crap, that's heavy. I think I'm set up and ready to go. I say that, I always forget something and I'm mid paint when I realize that, like, forgot to sand a certain side or something like that. Always stir, especially when it's a new can, because when it's a new can there's no space for you to shake, so you really want to stir up those pigments at the bottom. Got my handy dandy snap cap here. Pouring from a new paint can. Should be in the Olympics. I think it's literally impossible to do. One thing I always check before starting is my breather tube here that pressurizes the cup. These do get clogged from time to time. It's a consumable. They're very cheap. I keep them on hand. I didn't realize that at first, and you notice you're not getting the kind of flow that you need. The most important lesson about this sprayer is if something feels off, it's off. This gun sprays so smooth when it's working that if you're getting orange peel or something like that, something's definitely wrong. You need to stop what you're doing and figure it out. Got my filter here. Now, spraying is not something that you can just pick up and do I've been practicing this for years with both rattle cans, multiple sprayers. A few things you want to notate: it takes practice. Get used to the distance, the speed, overlap each line by 50%. I can tell you all these things till I'm blue in the face, but at the end of the day, the only way you're going to get better at it is to just do it. You have to just practice, practice, practice. One thing that's going to be your best friend when you're spraying is gravity. Anything laying flat is going to take a thicker coat. It's not going to run. You're able to just throw more paint on it than if you were painting a vertical surface. And you'll see here that I do have this fancy tree thing that holds shelves or pieces. I always paint the bottom side. All sides are important, but let's be honest, the bottom side is less important. I'm going to throw a really thick coat on there. I'll probably do 2 coats on the bottom of these shelves, whereas I'm going to do 3 coats on the top. And this tree just really helps store more pieces in the shop. Notice I left the back off of these shelves. If you've ever sprayed into a cabinet, it sucks. So this way you can kind of come at it from both sides. I go top to bottom, and I make a horrible decision to lay on the floor here, which was very stupid on my behalf, and so I'm about to switch it up. So the good thing about lacquer is there is floating particles everywhere right now, and some of it is landing on these shelves that are horizontal, but I don't really worry about it too much, because when I spray a thick coat on these shelves, the particles that are laying on those shelves will just dissolve into the lacquer that I just sprayed on it. This is the first coat, so it will get sanded, but it is nice to know that it will dissolve all those pieces and you don't have to worry about the overspray as much. The last thing I spray is the face of the cabinet, which is one of the most important parts. It's what everybody's going to see. Nice, even coat. Since I painted the shelves earlier on, the bottom is now dry, so I can put a very heavy coat on the top and sit them right back on the shelf without worrying about them sticking. That went pretty good. Nothing crazy went wrong there. I did burn through a lot more paint than I thought I would. That took about an hour total. Took a few breaks. Mainly the shelves, because there's 16 of them in total. That took forever. So now I'll clean the gun out. Made a little bit of a mess, a few leaks here and there. Mainly my fault. First step, get the paint out. Put a little lacquer thinner in there. And give it a good shake. Spray it out. You're cleaning out the nozzle, and you're going to do that 2 or 3 times. Now, one thing I've noticed is colored lacquer takes a little more work than clear lacquer, and not just because you can see it. It's just there's something different about it. So I like to keep the outside of my gun pretty clean as well. If you notice, there's a lot of blue paint in that hose right there, so I'll probably change it out before the next coat just to make sure there's not a clog. You want to start cleaning the top of this. That's where your seal is made. If you let paint build up right there or on the inside of your lid, you're not going to get a good seal, which means your cup won't properly build pressure, and you're not going to throw as much paint. So keep it really clean. I learned that lesson early on. I've had this gun for probably 2 years, and I think eventually I'll buy another one, but as long as you keep them clean, it lasts a long time. I haven't had to replace any parts on it or anything. Take that back. I did buy a new tip or a new needle recently, I think I must have dropped the needle and just put a bad check on it or something. I'm gonna really clean those threads. If you were about to turn around and do another coat right after this, which I'm not, you can technically leave lacquer in the gun. I don't like doing that. What I'll do is just do like a half cleaning, leave some thinner in the gun, and then come back to it, dump the thinner, and go back to painting. That works pretty good. All right, the last rinse, definitely gonna run some of that thinner through that gun. Get the last little bit out of this lid. I like to put my gun on my cup here, remove the back, remove the spring. Be careful with that spring, easy to lose. And pull your needle. Now look at that needle, it's got paint all over it. I used to not do that. I learned the hard way. And then I'll even take a little bit of thinner and back pour in that hole to rinse it out. Don't be scared to use thinner. Clean as a whistle. The rest of that thinner comes out this hole, cleans that out, comes out the tip, keeps cleaning that out, and really finishes out cleaning that gun. Well, the last part of my video, I had the camera pointed straight at my belly. Oh well, I had to delete it. So I'm in my editing room finishing this out. This system, as I said, has been an absolute game changer for me. I'm now able to put professional coatings on all my pieces, and I don't have to worry about air pressure. This system does everything I want it to do and everything I need it to do. I think I had about $1,200 in this system total. One thing I didn't mention, you notice I did not have the flexible hose that you can buy from Fuji. I had this to begin with, and I had a hole in it, so I bought another one. And that one got a hole in it, so I bought another one, 3 of them. To me, they're great when they're working, but they just don't hold up. I don't necessarily think I'll ever need to upgrade to one of the bigger models, but I may. It just depends. I am curious if anybody else has the bigger models and what the difference is. All in all, very happy with this machine. I did post the link in the video, so if you want to buy it. Thank you so much for watching. If you would, please subscribe, like, and comment, and we'll see you next time.